All right, we're live.
Sick, dude? You sound
Yeah, I'm congested. I don't think it's like sick more than just like allergies and some.
I told you, man. CMOS.
You know what? I fucking keep forgetting to get that shit. Dude, life is crazy, man. Life will just put it to you some days, for real. I feel like that parent right now. I'm about to lose it on you, Slim, for no reason.
Dude, lose it on me. But I've been like that this week, too. There must be something going on, like solar.
Something in the air, man.
Something in the air.
Something in the air. Is it a full moon?
Because, I mean, it's been going on with a lot of people I know right now.
You know, it's funny to get into this subject for a brief second. Like, there's a part of me that always says yes. Oh yeah, sorry.
No, I got it.
You do need your own though, for real.
Yeah, I got it. I'm pulling it.
There is a part of me that like half of me is like that. Astronomy. What is it? What's it called?
Astrology.
Astrology.
Yeah.
And like people's horoscopes and stuff. I'm like, that shit's bullshit. And then there's a part of me and a half of me that's like, that shit sounds pretty real and legit. And like, oh my god, they have some like legit. And every time I read something about my like a Capricorn, and I'm supposed to be a King Capricorn, you know, like that shit cracks me up.
King Capricorn?
A King Capricorn.
What does that mean, man?
That's the type of Capricorn I am, you know. Ask Zoe about it. We've talked about it before, but it depends on the day you're born, all that shit.
Yeah,
but
see,
like,
I'm a Pisces Aries cusp is what I am. Because
you're right on the line.
I'm right on
two
the I'm like
weird,
a day off.
Weird. Yeah. But like every time I read one about a Capricorn, I'm like, I feel like that's a pretty like who I am or what I am. And then I read like one for another one, and I'm like, that actually does not. Because I always try to think like, well, maybe they're all just like I'm gonna think that. It's very rare I find one that I actually think that like fits me. You know, I think Capricorns always fit me, and I'm like, what the? And then they always have like these times of year, things happen, and people all like get affected by it. And I start thinking like, maybe there really is some shit to this.
Yeah, I definitely believe there's plenty of truth to it, but I also think anything that you let get to you on a daily basis can be damaging. Like, I just, like, because for a while there, I was, like, reading it every day.
So, like, take it for what it is.
Take it for what it is, for sure.
But don't live by this.
But I don't think it's something you should, like, practice per se.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. No, I don't think 100% of it is
and
legit.
That's just, obviously that's just like how I'm trying to live my life, and that's not like to say that anybody, dude, if you're super into it, by all means.
There are people who are super into
I just know with my personality, if I were to get too involved in it, it would tear me apart.
For sure.
And like if that horoscope told me I was going to have a bad day or something like that,
then you're going to have a bad day.
I would literally just be thinking about that all day, and that would cause, because that's the law of attraction, you know? It would cause me to go haywire, you know?
It's weird.
It is.
It's a very strange subject.
Yeah.
You know, but like fun to kind of, I agree with you. It's more of like read it as like a conspiratorial thing almost. Where like, some of this could be real.
Right.
Most of it's probably crap, you know?
Correct.
But like, there are just some weird things that like do happen in life, and I'm like, is it real?
Yeah.
Is this real? I keep moving on in my life anyways, you know? Mm-hmm. It's true, though. I agree with that.
Yeah. Well, anyways, guys, welcome back.
You know,
this is another
ourselves.
Episode of What's in Your World, where we're just chatting here. I mean, yeah, hey, Chaz. I'm Salim, your host.
I'm Chaz.
A.K.A. Young Limes. Because every week
I was going to say every week.
Ever since that one day when I was like, do I want to... I think I didn't feel like sharing my
I'm glad that you didn't go on the rant.
Well, see, I didn't... That specific day, I didn't feel like putting my name out there on the internet. Why? I don't know why. I was feeling...
You've already done it.
You know, I've done it plenty of times. Are you kidding me? Like...
That's actually pretty
Anybody
funny.
who wants to know my name can easily find out.
For sure. That's how I feel about me. I'm like, God bless, man. Someone could trace me and find me and have no problems at all.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you can't really go back.
No. I went back and read some shit I said on Facebook,
Oh,
The
God,
first
don't
year
even.
it came out, this would have been like 15, 16 years ago now. It's like '05, you know? Like the first year it ever existed. And I'm thinking like, man, we really were just some kids sitting on a social media site that only had us on there. And like it didn't have parents or anybody. It was just college kids and high school kids, and that was it, man. And like we said some raunchy shit,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy to think how far. I do remember the early days of like, man, I got 10 comments on my wall.
Right.
Yeah, you know, like
Dude, the first time you get 100 likes on an Instagram post, oh my God.
I don't think I've ever even gotten 100 likes.
I
Even
was
though
like-
I'd never really
I was buzzing. Because,
That's a seriously like scary thought.
yeah.
If you want to know the truth, this is kind of why I
Absolutely.
got out of social media. like I did.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm
Because
way out of that game.
We
now.
should not be getting our
That's not something that
good
should
feelings
be rewarded.
Right there it is. You
Wha-
shouldn't feel a reward for a like. That shouldn't be a thing.
Correct.
But we do. I do too. I'm not saying like I don't. No one is or whatever. Like you're bad. It's a real thing that we all experience, but I don't know why, and it's not good.
It's man, I feel like social media has done such an amazing job at brainwashing civilization
Yes.
into thinking something that is so not real is gonna change your life. Which it's gotten so far, or it's gone so deep to where it actually is changing people's
Yeah,
lives.
that's the
Because
problem.
there's social
You can
media
make money.
influencers
Yeah,
now.
Yeah.
You know, it got that far.
Which, good. I'm
Why?
glad that
Why?
I'm glad that there is a market that will allow more people to become wealthy and get out of
Sure.
poverty and get a chance and do what they want.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So like I do always have that like the whole goal of life and society is to find ways to make everybody wealthier and easier access to get out of shithole, you know?
Yeah.
That's where we started was a shithole, and we're trying to actively get ourselves out of that. We've done a fantastic job. That's the point of life. And if we can find some new ways like YouTube and Facebook and Instagram to make money, I struggle not to say that's a good thing.
Yeah.
It goes back to the question, if you had a device that you could bring to the world that would change everybody's life for the better, everybody becomes wealthier from it, but you got to kill 50,000 people a year for it. That's kind of like what social media is. You're making the world come together. It's making the whole world global now.
Mm-hmm.
I can just be like, well, what is going on in Russia?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much China's like the only place you can't see nowadays.
North Korea.
I guess
too.
Cuba today because they shut off the internet,
And
and
North
North Korea.
Korea.
You know, so like it's very few amount of places, but you can see people are making money from it. They're becoming very wealthy from this.
Mm-hmm.
We're introducing, you know, like the youngest millionaires ever from this
Mm-hmm.
shit. You're also having suicide rates skyrocket, depression skyrocket.
Right.
So you're having some negative effects.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's a dark world.
It is, but it's always been dark in its own way. It just changes like the weather, you know.
And you kind of grew up with it
Oh.
established. It was already there.
I mean, I had Twitter when I was in like 7th grade or something like that. I could send tweets from my flip phone. I could just send a text to Twitter, and it would post. Dude, I said some weird stuff. Like, I was still like, I guess, supportive of Alabama football. And I remember, I think it was like one of the first tweets, but it was all caps, "Frick you, Auburn turds." I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Like 10 exclamation points.
Holy shit.
And like, I think 20 tweets after that, it was just all caps. Like that was my thing.
That's great.
And like, I remember
That's
my
good stuff.
sister coming up to me. She was like, "You know, when you have all caps, everybody reads it like you're yelling." And I was like, "Good."
That's what I wanted. That shit is hilarious.
Yeah, because it was like, how can you be loud through a message? And that's how I felt.
Do you ever remember a life without social media in some form? Like Facebook came out when you were like
I
4 or
guess.
5 years old.
Yeah, but like I lived in Saudi Arabia. We weren't really like.
That's true.
It wasn't until I was 7.
I guess
when we
until you
moved
came to America that you actually started getting really embraced into the
Yeah.
social media world.
I guess. Because, I mean, I would come to America in the summers to visit family.
That's fair.
But, like, it was only like a
When you're
taste.
really young, it's really like
The only thing I really remember about it was how weird the weather was. Dude, because in Saudi, it would rain, like, maybe once a year.
Weird.
Maybe. And when it did, everything would flood because there's no drainage systems.
Yeah.
Right? So then you'd come, I would come here in the summers, and it's like raining in the afternoon. Like, it's like sunny in the morning, raining in the middle of the day, sunny at night.
Afternoon
Or
showers,
like
man.
a thunderstorm, and then like lightning, thunder, heavy rain. That was some freaky, like dark clouds.
Like
that stuff.
like hurricane tornado
those were
shit coming
those
through.
were my worst fears
Really?
growing up. Yeah.
How do you feel about them today?
Still uneasy.
Really?
I mean, not like I'm not like actually. I wouldn't say
See, that shit like
I'm
puts
actually
me to
worried.
sleep.
No, like a rain shower.
Yeah.
I love a rain
But
shower.
like,
as long as I'm
rumble in
inside,
the house.
rumbling the house depends. Like
Okay.
tornado season, I'm still uneasy on tornado
Yeah,
season.
that's fair.
I don't like.
Which you should be.
You know,
Look, if anybody's ever seen what a tornado can do or ever experienced
It's-
one, I mean, they're
other than like Oklahoma and Kansas, we've seen some really weird.
we've seen
ones.
some of the worst shit. You know, like it is bad, man. Like I'm really not that terrified of them because like the chances of some of this it really depends on two things. One, how unlucky are you in life? You know, like truly, and then number two, what kind of geographical land are you standing on at that time? Like my parents' house growing up, I never would have been scared of a fucking tornado because they live on the side of a mountain. Like literally the side of a mountain. Like you have to go down a mountain and you have to turn in the middle of the mountain, you know? So like tornadoes are just not coming into that area. They come to flat land kind of areas. You know, so like there are little tornado alleys, and if you live in one of those alleys, I'd be horrified every time they started talking about that shit. You know? It's like and just like I always wondered when I was younger, what's more powerful, a tornado or a hurricane? In terms of just pure speed of like wind and like it's not even a question. The highest freaking hurricanes are like not even 200 miles an hour winds. Tornadoes, they get up to 350, 300, 350. Those things will fuck shit up.
Yeah.
It's just they're condensed and they're
Yeah.
small.
Right.
Hurricanes are ginormous, so they cover more
Wider
land. So
span.
like which
and then
ones do
flooding too.
yes. So which ones do more damage? Probably hurricanes. But which ones can fuck something up in particular more?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, tornado. You don't want to fuck around with a tornado. Those things, pretty much if you see one, it's going fast enough to kill you.
Yeah.
You can live through a hurricane pretty easily.
Yeah.
If you get
Imagine
hit-
being thrown in the air hundreds of feet
oh, dude.
and just what that.
If you could be in your car and that thing's going to pick up your car and take you.
Yeah.
You know?
One of our family friends lost their house this year due to a
Yeah,
tornado.
that's insane. Just-
Right by the state park, Oak Mountain State Park.
That's some power.
Yeah.
That's
Because that
some
went
power.
through a mountain,
That's some power, man.
you know?
That's crazy. Yeah, natural disasters and natural like just Mother Nature. That's a scary fucking
Yeah.
thing. You know.
Yeah. Oof. How did we start that conversation, man?
I know how we started that one in particular, but how we got to the point where we got where you were telling me about how it never rains in Saudi. But
Oh,
then
yeah,
you
yeah,
came
yeah.
here and the rain's crazy and
What were we talking about before? Who knows? That is what's in your world
yeah,
for you.
that's for sure.
Because this is what's in our world, in our minds at the current moment.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
You know?
Now I want to ask you: ever been through like a earthquake?
Mm-mm.
I haven't either. I've always wanted to experience one, but I don't.
No. Yeah. No. I'm okay. Not
That one
having
scares
to
the
live
shit
through
out.
it. Yeah.
That and I want to see Earth's blood,
Like lava.
lava. But I'm terrified of
Yeah.
it.
Volcanoes are freaky too.
Volcanoes.
That's something too. Is people all around the world have natural disasters to worry about.
That doesn't matter
You
where you
know,
live.
it doesn't matter where.
Tsunamis.
Like if you live in Indonesia, you're worried about tsunamis.
Yeah, like you get
that could literally
Those
put a
friggin'
whole
horrifying.
island underwater like that. What?
I didn't realize how big one can get, and then I didn't realize how far in they just destroy everything.
Mhm.
The amount of water that rushes through is just so overwhelming for anything.
Yeah.
Like watching some of the ones on the video on YouTube is like this whole area becomes flooded within like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
The whole place.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I do feel like hurricanes and tornadoes may be the least of our worries. Because like
Plenty of other things.
you're in a friggin' path of like a volcano and you are so effed.
Yeah.
You're so effed.
Yeah.
Like a earthquake. It's the whole earth's shaking, so it's just a matter of how hard does it shake, and did you build your house to be able to withstand a freaking shake that hard?
Mm-hmm.
And most homes are not built that way. Only big buildings are.
And who knows? There could be other natural disasters we've never heard of.
This is true.
'Cause like, what I'm sure there's plenty of civilizations out there that were totally wiped out and you have no way of knowing what happened. You know?
You make a really good point, actually.
Like imagine if COVID took out everybody. No way of knowing that it was a natural disease or that it was I can't really I don't know if I can say natural. But if it was a disease,
Yeah.
how would you? I'm sure there's some island somewhere that got totally wiped out, and nobody can tell. Nobody will ever know.
When the Europeans came over and started effing them all up for their disease, that's Mother Nature, man. That in my sense, that's Mother Nature.
That's humanity.
That's
the Earth.
humanity.
It's
You know,
within the
that's
Earth,
correct. We are part of Mother Nature in a sense,
Yeah.
and we're a very destructive being. We come in and we just take over. We are invasive as shit, And even with our diseases and shit, when we go over, that really is like a really big issue that was happening for a long time. Was like whole colonies were just wiped out completely because of that crap. It does make me sad that like some of these cultures were taken away.
Oh, absolutely.
But at the same time, I do think like, what would those cultures be today? Really, they wouldn't be anything like what they were.
I feel like there's only. Have you heard about the one island? It's like off the coast of India.
Yes.
In between India and Nepal.
Yes.
Yeah.
That they've like 7 or 10 people or some shit have tried to go in and they all died.
Mhm.
Every one of them. I think one of them lived, but that's
There's only-
because they were
yeah.
like trying to get away and like having shit thrown at them and
Uh-huh.
shot at them and shit. Which is weird.
Well, like I saw videos of them recently, and they were like taking like creek water and just drinking it straight, and that was like you would looking at that water. I'm like, no way someone that lives in the modern world would be able to drink that and
Hell
not
no.
die.
Yeah, you die.
But like they were just gulping it down.
Makes
And I'm
you
like,
think,
wow,
like-
those people's immune systems are probably ridiculous. But I bet if you gave them like a Cheeto or something,
It killed.
they would,
If you step foot on their island, you potentially could kill them. You may carry something, smallpox, I don't know, that would end up wiping them all out.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even know it.
Yep.
I think that was a big stepping stone for humanity was to discover and understand germs.
Yeah.
Hey, don't drink the water here. You'll get sick as shit. Oh, didn't know that.
And it's kind of interesting too, because like that's one of the first things that lived on our planet.
Microorganisms.
Are these microorganisms?
For sure.
Ugh.
That's what we come from.
Yep.
In a sense, we all come from. I
We're
guess
full of them.
if you depends on how much you believe in evolution and how much you follow evolution.
Sure.
But if you do follow evolution, then that's essentially we came from single-celled organisms that eventually sprouted into two-cell and multi-cell,
Mm-hmm.
and then now we're being fucked up by them.
Yep.
Dude,
They're coming back at us.
hardcore.
They want the attention now.
Hardcore. Hardcore.
What if they're the aliens? What if aliens... Hold on. What if other planets are... Imagine a microorganism with the mental capacity that surpasses us.
The only thing I can think that would do that would be nanotechnology. A computerized microorganism type thing.
Yeah, but
I don't think...
I'm sure something that's not a human can come up with a nanotechnology.
Yes.
Nanotechnology. What if nanotechnology was just sprouted, and it had nothing to do? It just happened,
But it'd be
just like a Big Bang theory,
which is, I guess for just argument's sake,
Yeah.
I guess in my head I think if it's a living organism, it has to have a brain. And that brain then has to be of comparable size to us to outsmart us.
Right, but what is a brain other than an X amount of molecules and cells?
It's these neurons firing off connection to each other that they have to have, and we've got billions
Which I guess
of them.
is what creates consciousness, huh?
Yes, it's somewhere inside of these connections.
But what if there's consciousness without a brain?
I don't know how you could have it unless there were neurons or some way. You have to be able to store this data somewhere. Our brain is like a hard drive. It's storing things and then letting you access it, and it's accessing itself essentially, So like, they may not have a brain, but if they want to be intelligent, they've got to be able to store information somewhere and be able to re-access that information.
Correct.
So how does that happen at a molecular level that's more advanced than a human being of our size with the amount we have? That's where I'm coming from. I don't know how it's... I'm not saying you're wrong. Fuck
No,
you,
I'm
dude.
I'm
I don't
just
know
posing,
if
I'm just posing these questions because you think about connected consciousness, right?
Yes.
And let's just say our globe is one massive connective consciousness.
Now, if they could all
Whether they-
communicate with each other,
See, and that's what I'm saying.
now that could be something.
Because if we're that close,
Yeah.
because we kind of are,
Yeah.
as a civilization, we're closer and closer to realizing, because I think that's the first step,
Yeah.
is realizing that there is a connected consciousness.
Yes.
Now, let's say there's another planet that's figured that out already.
Yeah.
And they don't need people. They don't need humans. It is just this thing. And that's where I'm posing the ideal of there's no need for nanotechnology, yada, yada. It's already past that.
All right, so I do think that, like, I've thought about, like, what would an advanced society really look like? If they really have humans are evolving. We're evolving. We're only 200,000 years into our evolution, so we're not very far, but we are evolving. And I think we'll evolve even further as we kind of mold into technology. But then I start thinking, half the shit we are and have is totally pointless.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally pointless. We don't need it, Like, we could get away and do just fine without it. So,
Well, and pardon me, but to go even further with that, us as people, we are so, we're that tiny, minute, not even necessary detail in the grand scheme of things.
For sure.
Like, what does my life matter to the entire Earth?
it's funny to me that, like,
and society and civilization as a whole. Even if I were to make the largest impact of anybody in my generation, still,
it's absolutely nothing and everything at the same time.
correct. Oh,
I don't know how else to explain that.
Agree.
Like,
I definitely agree with that.
You really do mean zero in one sense, but without you, what would this place be?
Right. Well, but that
Because
that
you
brings
make
back,
up what it all is. We need everybody. All of us are equally important into the ecosystem that we create, but that also makes you very insignificant in one sense.
But that has to. I feel like that goes on with the connected consciousness.
For sure. One day, humans are going to all be connected. We're all going to be connected. We could have this conversation
I
just
think
by
we already
sitting on a
are.
couch.
I think we already are.
Not like it will be. It's like
Sure, no, I
Elon
agree with
Musk
that.
says,
I
like,
agree with that. I
the
agree with that.
fastest we can communicate is like through our thumbs. He's like, that's our channel? Is thumbs? What a slow ass channel is that? We need direct connectivity. I need to be hearing your thoughts as you're having them when you want me to hear them. It's instant. It's just there. It's just happening. There is no communication. It takes time for me to process the words, to get them out, for then you to hear them, to process. Fuck all that. That shit's slow. Instant. I want to know it as it's fucking happening.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where I think, like, we're heading towards that. And it's coming very soon.
Mm-hmm.
In one sense, I think it's hundreds of years for real.
Sure.
But, like, that's pretty close actually compared to where we've been 2,000 years ago. We're getting really close to this idea of like we're all just. So then I think like we don't really need our legs in our body anymore. We'll start like advanced civilizations are literally just like floating beings or some shit. You know, like maybe they're just in a room somewhere and they just live in this digital space because that's more real to them than reality now. You know, because in this world, to me, you're so advanced and you've gone so far as like as human beings that like now digital life is letting you feel everything. It's just as real to you, you know? Like that is just as real. I almost laugh at the idea that they would send aliens here. You are an advanced society who has a fucking spacecraft that can go around galaxies and you're putting people in it? Why? Why would you do that? You don't need to. Your technology is going to be able to easily see everything that ship does. It can control itself, and you can control whenever you feel like. And if you really wanted to go see something, you would have a robot, an android that would do it for you. I just don't see you sending people.
Right.
So part of me is like,
But what if their androids are so advanced, they're disguised as people?
That's a good, okay. That's not a bad thought. I actually think that, like, if I really had to guess, we were put here by a society. And I don't know if it was humans specifically or, like, life in general is being observed here. And we are a petri dish.
Oh, I'm a firm believer we are a form of a petri dish.
I wouldn't mind it.
No, I
Wouldn't
don't
care at all.
I don't care. And how is that going to affect my life, really?
Doesn't affect me at all.
You know?
I totally agree with you on that one. And, like, that doesn't change religion.
No.
Those are not your gods.
No.
Those are just other beings, maybe human beings of more advanced society that put you here, but who's their gods? You know, like, who says we can't have our gods in our religion still? You know, like, that doesn't...
This is all theoretical, you know?
For
like,
sure.
What is the...
For sure.
Like, what do I need somebody to justify it?
People do.
People do.
Too much, man.
They do, yeah.
You know, people need meaning in this world.
I feel like that's what that's what separates us, in a way.
Like humans or us?
Us.
Okay, yes, I agree with you.
That idea.
Yes. I feel like you're very much like me in the sense that, like, you don't need things to necessarily make sense. You just want to know about it. And you want to know about more things.
Yep. Things spark my interest, you know? And I let them spark my interest. Because why block things out?
As they should.
You know?
As they should.
So, hey, I'm cool with it.
That's why I get along with you.
I'm cool with a lot of things, you know?
Because you don't give a shit about most things that are just pointless to worry about. Stop, people. I just want to tell people stop.
And even the things that do, I feel like I always can come to my senses and reflect on what and why, how.
Yes.
You know, ask myself questions.
Yes.
Because if you're not asking yourself questions, you will be eternally lost.
Yes.
And we're already eternally lost as it is, you know? So why be more?
Birth, yeah. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. We're all this way, you know?
Yep.
Totally agree. People are not willing to introspectively look at themselves. I struggled at this for a long time. It took my epiphany in life that I have discussed with you about to, like, okay, I need to look inside. I need to start looking at myself. I still do this to this day.
You have to.
I still always am looking at myself like, I need to do this better. I could do that one better. Or, I think I'm doing pretty well there. I need to keep that going. You know, I think it's important that when you do this, you don't just down on yourself. Like, that's not going to help you, you know? Make sure that you're acknowledging what is good and continuing, acknowledging what's... It's a hard fucking process, man. And it's something like, don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting over here thinking, like, I'm a master at this shit. By far, I'm not. But at the same time, at least I'm willing to try. And most people are not.
Yep.
And I've never understood that concept.
Yep.
Like, grow up.
All it is some effort.
Take some time.
It's a bit of patience. It's a bit of effort. a dabble of this spice, some of this spice, a little of this oil, this, a little bit of this plant,
Yes.
a little bit of that seasoning.
In a sense, you're
and then,
not lying.
And then guess what? Throw it in the oven, you got a meal.
Hey, those meals changed my life.
Exactly.
Those meals truly changed my life. It's funny to me that I went into those things thinking one way, like totally weird view on something,
Mm-hmm.
came out with a whole new perspective on it.
Right.
And I thought, I don't know anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like it truly made me understand that you just have to try things sometimes. Even if you don't understand it or you don't like it, just give it a shot. It may change your life. You don't know.
Very well could.
I was just trying to have a good time eating that meal.
Exactly.
I just wanted to have a good time. I was like, let's just have this meal and have a good time, guys.
Let's learn.
That meal maybe change everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing what one meal can do to you, actually.
Indeed.
For the rest of your life.
Indeed.
It's been like fucking 12, 13 years now, and I'm still living off that one meal.
Mm-hmm.
That blows my mind.
That's a sufficient meal.
Yeah, dude.
Full of nutritious value.
Oh, man.
Very nutritious values.
I never had to eat again, and I'm living off the nutrients. That's pretty bad. Nutrients. that damn meal gave me.
Indubitably.
Yes. I like this conversation. It's a good
I do
conversation.
too. I do too.
I wonder if anybody's going to understand what the meal is.
Absolutely not.
You don't think so?
Not a chance.
That's fair. That's
Not
fair.
a chance.
How long have we been on this stream so far? 30 minutes? Shit, that...
Time flies
Dude,
in what's in your world.
That is not...
This circular table is a portal into some sort of time warp.
That's fair. I
But-
agree with that.
I think it's time to go.
Okay.
Hit the gym
Yeah, I'm down.
and get it going.
I'm down for that. All right, I'm cutting this shit.
Let's do it.
See ya.
What's in your world? Catch you next